For nearly a decade, Juventus stood tall as the undisputed kings of Italian football. Scudetto after Scudetto, Champions League finals, and an era of dominance that made them the envy of Europe. But now, the mighty old lady is a shadow of her former self. What went wrong? How did a team that once ruled Serie A fall from grace? Juventus returned to Serie A in 2007, like a fallen king returning to his throne. Except that the kingdom was still recuperating from the upheaval of the Calciopoli scandal, and the throne was not as strong as it once was. Captained by the steady Claudio Ranieri, the old lady completed third in their first season, back following an easy Serie B title win. Not bad for a club just gone through a year of exile. Nobody knew then that this was simply the beginning of a 10-year reign that would turn Serie A into Juventus's personal playground. They led. One of Europe's most competitive competitions soon turned into Juve's own venue. Heroes like Gianluigi Buffon, Andrea Pirlo, Leonardo Bonucci, and Giorgio Chiellini built an unquestionably strong dynasty that left the rest of Italy annoyed. Fast forward to today, though, and Juventus looks utterly lost, like a visitor in Rome without Google Maps. Consequently, what went wrong? Can they make it back to the summit? Their ascendancy started with a major overhaul. 2010 saw Andrea Agnelli appointed club president, and he started to change things right away. He named Luigi Del Neri as manager and Giuseppe Marotta as new director of football. That experiment failed more than a Sunday league squad trying to play tiki-taka. Del Neri was quickly let go, and Antonio Conte, a fresh, angry young coach, took his place. Under Conte's direction, Juventus took off. They earned their first Serie A title since 2003 and went perfect in the 2011-12 season. Tenacious Arturo Vidal, a seasoned but still magical Pirlo, and the relentless Stefan Lichtsteiner were among smart additions that turned Juventus from fallen giants into an unstoppable force. Their €100 million summer shopping spree paid off since they started a new era by winning the title 4 points above AC Milan. Still, being on top calls for more than simply money. It calls for wise expenditure. And Juventus? They appeared to think that one of them would start scoring eventually if they continued acquiring forwards. They signed Alessandro Matri, Mirko Vucinic, and Fabio Quagliarella in 2012-13. They focused especially on Sebastian Giovinco, Manolo Gabbiadini, Richmond Bocchia, Nicholas Bentner, yes indeed, and Nicolas Anelka the next season. Not surprisingly, none of them topped Del Piero. Vidal and Vucinic, the midfielders, both scored 10 goals. However, not all of their transfers were flops. Juventus signed Paul Pogba for free, which is still giving Manchester United fans nightmares. Juve's midfield, which included him, Pirlo, Vidal, and the dependable Claudio Marchisio, was one of the best in Europe. With a rock-solid defense that included Bonucci, Chiellini, Barzagli, and Buffon. Breaking down Juventus was as simple as booking a last-minute table at a Michelin-starred restaurant in Turin. They won back-to-back league crowns in 2012-13, conceding only 24 goals throughout the season. Conte kept building on this solid foundation, and in 2013-14, he took Juve to the Europa League semifinals while winning the league with a record-breaking 102 points. Their attack, now bolstered by Carlos Tevez and Fernando Llorente, finally clicked, scoring 35 league goals between them. The 4-point gap to second-place Milan the previous season had ballooned to 17. Juventus were no longer just dominant, they were utterly untouchable. Then arrived the first major crisis. Antonio Conte packed for the Italian national team, and Massimiliano Allegri walked in. Though initially not very happy, Allegri soon won over Juve supporters by guiding the club to the 2015 Champions League final. Juventus got it all the way only to be schooled 3-1 by Messi, Neymar, and Suarez in full beast mode. New acquisitions like Alvaro Morata and Patrice Evra added experience and flair. Still, they had some as major European rivals. At last, Juventus took transfers seriously. Instead of aiming darts at a list of strikers, they were moving deliberately now. Paulo Dybala, Alex Sandro, Mario Mandzukic, Sami Khedira, and Juan Cuadrado arrived in 2015 with one clear message. They aimed to rule Europe. But Bayern Munich sent them packing in the round of 16, even with a domestic double. Juventus was a worldwide force by 2017, juggling unrelenting domestic success with ongoing European heartbreak. Rising star Paulo Dybala, together with a team strengthened by Miralem Pjanic, Dani Alves, Mehdi Benatia, and Gonzalo Higuain, gave them a real chance at the Champions League. On the path to the final, they even pulled down Barcelona and Monaco, only to be steamrolled 4-1 by Cristiano Ronaldo's Real Madrid. At home, business as usual, another double Serie A and Coppa Italia. Still, the excitement was clearly waning. Juventus now was a worldwide brand, not only an Italian powerhouse. A modern new logo captured that aspiration. Still, their European dream kept eluding even with fresh additions like Douglas Costa and Blaise Matuidi. Once more to Real Madrid, another Champions League exit confirmed things had to change. Juventus doubled down on their European hunt in the 2018-19 season. Fabio Paratici became the football director, and the team made some significant additions, most famously Cristiano Ronaldo. Surprising returns also came from Leonardo Bonucci, João Cancelo, Emre Can, Mattia Perin, and Leonardo Spinazzola. Their Champions League campaign concluded in heartache once more, this time with a startling quarter-final loss to a vibrant young Ajax squad, despite the flood of talent. Massimiliano Allegri's remarkably effective rule as manager came to an end with this setback. Juventus felt it was time for a style change, towards a more aggressive football identity. Renowned for his offensive approach, Maurizio Sarri was invited to spearhead the assault. The club changed its transfer plan as well, emphasizing free transfers and promising young players above expensive acquisitions. But Sarri had a letdown at Juventus. The team became unduly dependent on Ronaldo's individual brilliance, since the free-flowing offensive game everyone envisioned never truly materialized. Not even big names like Matthijs de Ligt and Danilo lived up to the anticipation. New midfield additions like Adrien Rabiot and Aaron Ramsey battled to have an effect. Another Champions League flutter against Lions sealed Sarri's doom. Though it was providing a 10th consecutive Scudetto, the 2019-20 season felt as though an era was about to expire. Sarri was ousted, and in an unexpected turn of events, club great Andrea Pirlo was hired as manager, therefore ushering a fresh, unknown chapter for Juventus. Unlike their years of supremacy, Juventus dropped to 4th position in Serie A under Pirlo. Although they won the Coppa Italia, it was clear they were no more the unbeatable power of past years. Inter Milan's title-winning campaign marked a change in the balance of power. Even if Juventus made some interesting acquisitions in the summer 2020 window, their air of invincibility had eroded. Juventus has seen its first trophyless season since 2011 by 2022. Allegri returned to try and restore the past grandeur of the club, but his second term has fallen short of his first. The outstanding team that propelled Juventus to such heights has all but disappeared, and although capable, their successors have struggled to fill in the void left behind. The club's Champions League issues lingered, even though Villarreal cleared them embarrassingly in round of 16. Former Juventus executives Antonio Conte and Fabio Paratici came together at Tottenham Hotspur to inspire lighthearted notions of a Juventus on Thames in North London. Notwithstanding these challenges, Juventus still boasts gifted young players who might lead a comeback. Although Federico Chiesa and Dusan Vlahovic stand out as future pillars for the club, developing into a real powerhouse will take time and patience. Juventus has to concentrate on long-term sustainable planning instead of depending on temporary fixes like Angel Di Maria, Filip Kostic, and an injury-prone Paul Pogba. Bayern Munich, who has deftly moved from one period to another, might teach us something. Joshua Kimmich took in place players like Philipp Lahm. The venerable team of Arjen Robben and Franck Ribéry made room for a new generation comprising Serge Gnabry, Kingsley Coman, Leroy Sané, and Sadio Mané. Bayern's constant cycle of development has kept it at the top of European football, something Juventus should want to match. In the end, Juventus's road to glory depends on their capacity to develop young talent instead of throwing away outstanding players like Dejan Kulusevski before they ever shine. With a well-organized renovation emphasizing young development and strategic acquisitions, the old lady might once again live in her former glory. But Juventus runs the danger of being in the shadow of Europe's elite until they change course. Juventus's downfall is a cautionary tale of short-term ambition over long-term vision. Can they rise again, or is their reign truly over? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more football stories. See you in the next one.